नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 21. Vidyate
विद्यते
Hridaya
हृदय
Grantihi
ग्रन्थिः
Chidyante
छिद्यन्ते
Sarva
सर्व
Sangshayaha
संशयाः
Kriyante
क्रियन्ते
Cha
च
Asya
अस्य
Karmani
कर्माणि
Drishte
दृष्टे
Eva
एव
Atmani
आत्मनि
Ishvare
ईश्वरे
Vidyate Hridaya Grantish
हृदये हृदयग्रन्थिः
Chidyante Sarva Sangshayaha
छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः
Kriyante Chasya Karmani
कर्माणि
Drishtaivatmanishvare
ईश्वरे
Vidyate Hridaya Grantish
विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः
Chidyante Sarva Sangshayaha
छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः
Kriyante Chasya Karmani
क्रियन्ते कर्माणि
Drishtaivatmanishvare
दृष्ट्वैवात्मनीश्वरे
Vidyate Hridaya Grantish
विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः
Chidyante Sarva Sangshayaha
छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः
Kriyante Chasya Karmani
क्रियन्ते च कर्माणि
Drishtaivatmanishvare
दृष्ट्वैवात्मनीश्वरे विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः क्रियन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे
Vidyate pierced Hridaya heart Grantihi knots Chidyante cut to pieces Sarva all Sangshayaha misgivings Kriyante terminated Cha and Asya his Karmani chain of fruitive actions Drishte having seen Eva certainly Atmani unto the self Ishvare dominating. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Translation: thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive action is terminated when one sees the self as master. Purport: attaining scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead means seeing one's own self simultaneously. As far as identity of the living being as spirit self is concerned, there are a number of speculations and misgivings. The materialist does not believe in the existence of the spirit self and empiric philosophers believe in the impersonal feature of the whole spirit without individuality of the living beings. But the transcendentalists affirm that the soul and supersoul are two different identities, qualitatively one, but quantitatively different. There are other theories, but all of these different speculations are at once cleared off as soon as Sri Krishna is realized in truth by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Sri Krishna is like the sun, and the materialistic speculations about the absolute truth are like the darkest midnight. As soon as Krishna's sun is arisen within one's heart, the darkness of materialistic speculations about the absolute truth and the living beings is at once cleared off. In the presence of the sun, the darkness cannot stand, and the relative truths that were hidden within the dense darkness of ignorance become clearly manifested by the mercy of Krishna, who is residing in everyone's heart as the super soul. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text 11, the Lord says that in order to show special favors to his pure devotees, he personally eradicates the dense darkness of all misgivings by switching on the light of pure knowledge within the heart of a devotee. Therefore, because of the personality of Godhead taking charge of illuminating the heart of his devotee, certainly a devotee engaged in his service in transcendental love cannot remain in darkness. He comes to know everything of the absolute and the relative truths. The devotee cannot remain in darkness, and because the devotee is enlightened by the personality of Godhead, his knowledge is certainly perfect. This is not the case for those who speculate on the absolute truth by dint of their own limited power of approach. Perfect knowledge is called parampara, or deductive knowledge, coming down from the authority to the submissive oral receiver who is bona fide by service and surrender. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme and know him also at the same time. He reserves the right of not being exposed to such a challenging spirit of an insignificant spark of the whole, a spark subject to the control of illusory energy. The devotees are submissive, and therefore the transcendental knowledge descends from the personality of Godhead to Brahma, and from Brahma to his sons and the disciples in succession. This process is helped by the supersoul within such devotees. That is a perfect way of learning transcendental knowledge. This enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish spirit from matter, because the knot of spirit and matter is untied by the Lord. This knot is called ahankara, and it falsely obliges a living being to become identified with matter. As soon as the knot is loosened, therefore, all the clouds of doubts are at once cleared off. One sees his master and fully engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, making a full termination of the chain of fruitive action. In material existence, a living being creates his own chain of fruitive work and enjoys the good and bad effects of those actions, life after life. But as soon as he engages himself in the loving service of the Lord, he at once becomes free from the chain of karma. His actions no longer create any reaction. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunivadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhaktinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vidyate Hridaya Grantish, Chidyante Sarva Sanghrayaha, Kshiyante Chasya Karmani, Drishtva Evatmanishvare. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. We understand from Bhagavad Gita that our actual identity is a soul, but at the present moment, we are trapped in a body. Not this body, subtle body. Being in the subtle body, we are forced to go to different gross bodies according to our desires. So this subtle body we are carrying everywhere with us. It's a heavy burden. This subtle body is very heavy. It contains senses. It contains desires from many lives. And so we who are engaged in the service of this body are carrying, you can imagine, a heavy load that we are carrying everywhere. If I have a heavy backpack and I'm just going everywhere throughout my life with it, it's very heavy. It's a big disturbance. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam as bharam. Indya sukhaya maya. Indyarthe maya sukhaya bharam udvato vimudhan. Prahlad Maharaj says that people carry this heavy load. Why? Because they want happiness. Maya sukhaya. It's not really happiness, but they want this kind of illusory happiness. And so they're carrying a heavy load of the body which has senses. And as long as we have the body, then we'll be always morose. Why? Because we can't satisfy. Senses will demand, we cannot satisfy them. So we'll always be very morose. I cannot do this. I cannot satisfy this sense, that desire, that desire. So for that reason, there is no question of happiness or peace as long as we are trapped in this subtle body, as long as we are carrying this load, this heavy weight. So we are taught that we have to give up this weight. We have to remove this backpack of weight. But we can't, because we are carrying it for so long that it seems very strange. We have to carry it. Being trapped in this material body, we are also subject to its demands. And as we've been mentioning the last few verses, this knot is there. The knot is tying us to the body. That knot, tight knot, is making us think that we are the body, so we are acting. So that is the way. So now we are in a cycle of sin. Here it says, karmani, kriyante chasya karmani. Karma, action. Karmani, pertaining to action. But Prabhupada translated it as chain of fruitive actions. This is an example of how, when we see that word, someone will know what it means if they have a tradition of Vedic knowledge. But Prabhupada is giving, the literal translation will be different. There's a chain of fruitive action. We are stuck in this chain. It starts with avidya. Avidya. In Vishnu Puran, it's mentioned, Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta. Vishnu has an internal energy, spiritual energy. Shetagya Tathapara. And the Jiva is also internal, superior energy of spirit. Avidya karma samgyanya tritiya shakti rishyate. But there's a third energy, and that energy is avidya. Karma. Maya Shakti. The material energy has put us in ignorance and is causing us to suffer. So that third energy has covered us because we are subservient to Krishna. His material or spiritual energies are greater than us. So we can be covered. So the beginning is avidya. Avidya means lack of knowledge of who I am, what I'm meant to do. Because of that, the sinful tendency comes. Avidya gives good. Tendency to commit sin comes due to avidya. What is sin? Calm. What is calm? Acting separate from Krishna for our bodily enjoyment. Kama. So Shastra explains, Bhagavatam, Kamas and Indriya Priti. Our desire should not be to satisfy this material body. But that due to avidya, we are thinking, I am supposed to serve the body. Avidya is that covering. And that covering impels us, enjoy. Engage in your sense, satisfying your senses. And one with no vidya, knowledge, he doesn't know any better, he'll do that. So that avidya covers and gives us a propensity to sin. Sin means material enjoyment. So as we try to enjoy this material body, reaction comes from that. The reaction is that we do basically karma gives another material body. So that's one suffering. But also, because we associated with modes, when we do karma, when we act on the modes, they enter. At that second, it's like there's a bottle is closed, no air enters. You open, the air enters. When we expose ourselves to enjoying material nature, then at that point the matter enters and contaminates our whole body. Otherwise it cannot enter, cannot control us. But as soon as we engage, then it enters. Again we engage, again it enters, again, and we keep doing that, then it enters and takes full control. And when the covering is so thick, then we completely have no clue about spirituality. Heavy karmic layer. So now, the cycle of sin. Cycle of sin starts with avidya. Avidya gives us propensity to commit sin. We commit the sin, then we get a reaction. And we get a more tendency to commit sin. The reaction will act and make us suffer. And the tendency to commit sin gives sinful desire. Sinful desires are born. If we act on that desire, we get a reaction, and again the propensity to sin increases. So when we continuously try to satisfy the body which is demanding, it puts us in a chain that we get more and more bound. The chain is, I do sin, then I get desire to sin again, then I do it again, then I get, and this is called the chain of karmic activity. So we are in that chain, and the general tendency is to degrade. We were all Brahma once. We took the form of Brahma. We fell down, down, down. Now we are here. The tendency is, actually it is the tendency is to come down. But if you're in Vedic culture, it's not. If you're just in Vedic culture, following Varnashram, then the yagyas, the festivals, the culture, the sanskar, everything will lift us up. Gradually lift us within Vedic culture. But otherwise, everyone is a slave of their senses. Prabodhanand Saraswati prays, Kamadinam katina katida palita durnideshas. He said that I have served my senses, palita durnidesha. I have listened to the bad instructions of my senses whole life. They're telling me and I am listening. Palit durnideshas. Tesham jatamai na karuna natrapa no prashantihi. They have given me Tesham jatamai na karuna. They give no mercy. Because even I fall sick, still they're demanding. And I don't have money, I'm suffering. Still they're demanding. Satisfy your body, satisfy your senses. Na karuna. Natrapa, no shame. They don't have any shame. Because in any condition they'll push me to enjoy. In any situation. Sometimes I'm embarrassed, I'm put in a very difficult situation in trying to satisfy my senses. Nakuran, atrapa, no prashantihi, no peace also. At least, if I'm doing a job, they'll leave me alone when I come home, at least on a weekend, you'll get a break, but not the body, not the senses. They'll demand, even in sleep, even in awake, and any time, no prashanti. If we decide that I'll make my aim to satisfy this body and enjoy this life, we'll never know peace, because they'll always demand. They'll always demand. Then Prabodhanand Saraswati, Shripad Prabodhanand Saraswati, he prays that Utsrijetanata Yadupate from Ayata Sharana Abhayam. And now since I've heard of the Lord of the Yadus, Utsrijetanata Yadupate, and I have approached him, I have now approached him from Ayata Sharanam Abhayam. I've come to your fearless lotus feet now. Mam Niyungshat Madasye. Now please you engage me as your slave. I don't want to serve the senses. You engage me. Mam Niyungshat Madasye. I've approached you. Please accept me. I have to serve somebody. I don't want to serve this body. I want to serve you, Krishna. now you accept me. In that way I'll be engaged with you. Then I'll not engage in the senses. But how many people have realized this? Mostly they're engaged in this business of the chain, stuck in the chain. But if you're in the chain, you'll come down because it's adding on more and more coverings and more desire to enjoy. And after some time, that enjoyment is not enough. More and more is needed. That's the nature of the senses. For one who comes to serve Krishna, then he comes out of the chain. Otherwise, we more and more identify as the body. And then even our intelligence is disturbed, that we cannot even understand our situation. There are many misconceptions people have about this material world. One is that the soul and super soul are one. Some people think that. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, even it can be used. Some people have intelligence, or we say kubuddhi. What is the English translation? Kubuddhi, bad intelligence. They're intelligent, but they're using it in a wrong way. Maybe dushkati, kubuddhi. So it says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in one verse, in chapter 13, that I shall now, you see in chapter 13 he explains about that, Kshetragya, knower of the body. So he says, I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you shall taste the eternal Brahman. Now I'll give you knowledge by which you will experience Brahman. You'll transcend the nature and become to transcendental level of Brahman. The spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Spirit is subordinate to me. Who's that? It's us. We are subordinate to Krishna. Actually, we are beyond the cause and effect of this material world. But because of Maya, we are trapped. Okay. Now, next verse. Everywhere are his hands and legs. His eyes, heads, and faces. He has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. So now Mayavadis conclude, that's me, that's us. Super soul. Hands everywhere, eyes everywhere, legs everywhere. Super soul. Because previous verse, he says about the spirit. Then next verse, everywhere his hands and legs. Are your hands and legs everywhere? No. What number am I showing you on my finger? You don't know. It's not your hand. It's mine. I know. Okay? I don't know my hand. Your hand. You don't know mine. But here it's saying, and then people take this to mean, everywhere his hands and legs. That the soul has hands and legs everywhere. That we are soul. We are super soul. Because Krishna is saying, in this way the super soul exists. But they forget that actually in the fifth or third verse, Kshetragya chapi mam vidhi, is it third? Kshetragya chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharat. That Krishna explains about the kshetra, soul. Then he says, chapi, very important word in Sanskrit, cha-api, also, although. Krishna says, I'm also the enjoyer. Also means there's someone else who's the knower, and I'm also there. There's a soul and a super soul. This verse says that. So they're two different entities. Okay? So many people are not so philosophical generally. So when we speak about Mayavad, but mostly it's not an issue in day-to-day life. People have no interest in Mayavad or no Mayavad. But still, philosophically, it's good to know because that trap may come one day. So many times people, so advanced and reading, sometimes phone me, I'm a little disturbed. I read this video, I saw that video, what does it mean? Something Ritvik, recently someone told me. Chanting years, relatives are initiated. I read this Ritvik, I saw a Ritvik video. How to understand this? So we can fall in the trap, even advanced reading, chanting. So good to know the counter for that. So there are many misconceptions which stop us from surrendering to Krishna and keep us here in this material world. These misconceptions are burnt up if we simply begin to worship Krishna. It might be leap of faith. Leap of faith means I don't have the faith, but just do it. Bow down, offer the lamp on Damodar Ashtak, the Damodar Mass, and do what, and then after some time, due to bhakti, misconceptions are cleared up. this is actually mentioned that one who desires to come to Krishna, he'll remove the misconceptions. In the purport, that in the Bhagavad Gita 10:11, the Lord says, in order to show special favor to his pure devotee, he personally eradicates the dense darkness of misgivings. We have so many doubts, but that's removed by Krishna. How? By switching on the light. The light of pure knowledge within the heart of the devotee. Tesham aham kam evanukam partham aham agyana jamtama nashayami atma bhavasto. Last line. Vena bhasvata. With the lamp of knowledge, I destroy the darkness born from ignorance, avidya. We are in ignorance. That has given us so much darkness and suffering. But Krishna says, I light the lamp in the heart and destroy the darkness born of ignorance. And that lamp will immediately illuminate everything. There will be no more misgivings. But people become very disturbed because of these doubts. For that, we have to serve Krishna and serve intensely. And if we are disturbed in bhakti, we have to increase our devotional service. Increase the intensity of our bhakti. Because the Maya is pushing, then we have to push on the bhakti front. More Shravan, deeper kirtan, deeper chanting or hearing, deeper subject matter. We have to come to a higher level. Because we are pushing, but Maya is pushing. We will take a break, Maya won't take a break. Krishna himself will pull the devotee out of ignorance. That's not the case with the jnani. The jnani has to struggle for that knowledge. Even then, he'll not get all the knowledge. But the devotee, Krishna himself will give the knowledge. He'll remove all the doubts. Kriyante chasya karmani. Here, the chain of fruitive reaction is destroyed. Here, samshaya, chidyante sarva samshayaha. And samshaya here means misgivings. We have so many doubts. Doubts, things stopping us to surrender further. So many things in the heart. How will it go? It will go with knowledge. How? When we get deeper realization who I am. When the light is illuminated, then we can see everything clearly. So similarly, we will see ourselves. Drishta eva atmanishari. We'll see the Supreme Lord. We'll understand, I'm a soul, I'm a servant. And then we'll be more driven to do that. Because we can see, no one can cheat us then. When some feeling, the body does not have enough food, then a signal comes. What is the signal? Hunger. Hunger signal means time to eat. Well, sometimes not always. Sometimes we're just smelling something nice and, oh, I want to take that prasada. But usually, if we are properly trained, hardly we are trained, but at young age, someone is understanding, okay, this is time to eat. Hunger signal came. Hunger signal means body needs to be given food. So similarly, we are now not serving Krishna due to ignorance. But when Krishna uncovers that layers of karma, karmic actions, reactions, desire for, enjoyment. So when that is uncovered, then the inside that the desire comes to serve God. Actually, it's there in the heart that I have to serve God. I have to do something. I have to serve Krishna. I have to please Krishna. Then our mind goes away from body and other things. Because we properly realize that realization has to come. It's inside, the desire, deep desire to serve Krishna. But it's covered by so many layers. And those layers are the karmic chain that we have been continuously trying to enjoy this material body, which is again binding us more and more and more. And the knot has become so tight. So when bhakti starts to arise in the heart, this is all destroyed. Here it's mentioned actually in the purport. It says that the enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish spirit from matter. Because the knot of spirit and matter is untied by the Lord. Enlightenment. But when will the enlightenment come? When we have desire to serve. Krishna says, okay, you want to serve me, so we have to even we're not feeling, but we do it. And that is sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is forced remembrance of Krishna. I don't want to. You have to do it. So we don't want to, actually. The tendency is not there. But our intelligence has realized this is the best thing I have to do. So do it. And we do it. Later, then we see, oh, this is what I have to do. Then we don't need authority anymore. Everything will be happening on our own. Otherwise, in ISKCON, everyone has authority. Because the tendency is the jiva will run away from Krishna, seva or Krishna. But when the desire comes from within, that is raganuga, spontaneous, then automatically we'll do it. But still, because we are in the material world, in the material body, you don't know when again we'll come back. So, if we begin the process of bhakti, then Krishna will give us the qualification to do it fully, purely. He'll remove the coverings. And that's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So that beginning has to come, beginning. And that will illuminate everything. Illuminate our identity as a soul. Now I just heard about it. Prabhupada says it, everyone is saying, I'm a soul. Okay, I'm a soul. Because Prabhupada is great Acharya, I've seen his purports, I can perceive that he's a direct representative of Krishna. So he said, I'm a soul, I accept it. But I didn't realize it. I have to realize it. So that only Krishna can do. Only the bhakta will get that knowledge. Because the bhakta is submissive to Krishna, he will get the knowledge. You have to be submissive. Bhakti bhaktosime sakacheti rahasyam hiyadat uttamam. This supreme secret will only come to the devotees. Krishna told Arjuna, he repeated so many times, bhaktosime pravakshami anasuyave. You're not envious of me. Where else? So many. We can't get them now. But in chapter 18 also it says that. Ishto asime dridamiti tatavakshami te hitam. You're determined, ishto asime, because you are very dear to me. Dridham, very dear to me. Ishto asime dridamiti tatavakshami te hitam. Therefore I'm speaking for your benefit. So for Krishna, for our benefit, when he realizes that he desires to serve me, so Krishna will take mercy and he'll take us out of this, out of the darkness, which is blocking us to serve Krishna. He himself, no one else can do it. So only the bhakta will get that. Only the bhakta who is submissive. He is submissive to the parampara. Prabhupada explains here that perfect knowledge is called parampara knowledge. Parampara. Deductive. You understand? Deductive, inductive. Common words Prabhupada uses. Yeah. Deductive means I'm taking the knowledge, I'm not going to go and pretend to be super bright, I'm going to liberate myself and read all the Vedas and Puranas and Upanishads. No, what I'll do is, I follow the Acharyas, tell and listen what they tell me to do. So that comes down from authority. And it will come to the submissive oral receiver who is a bona fide by service and surrender. Service, surrender makes us bona fide. Then the knowledge comes in parampara and enters. Otherwise, the same knowledge will come to many people. It won't enter. They'll not understand. But that person will get it, who surrendered in the parampara and is serving. One cannot challenge the Supreme. That, okay, I'll get the knowledge, I'll surrender, I'll go back to Godhead. You cannot do that. Because who is giving intelligence? Inside the heart, Paramatma. He'll not reveal it. I'll hear, but I'll not understand. I don't have a clue. What is it? Sometimes you read the Bhagavatam or Gita. So much knowledge is revealed. Other times it becomes dull. So it's like that, up and down, up and down. But if we continue, one day it won't be up and down. It'll be up and up. It'll just stay there. There'll be no dip. We'll just read and understand. Everything will come clearly. Krishna from inside will reveal it. But he'll only reveal to the bhakta, submissive in the parampara, who is has a service attitude. Sevan mukhe hi jivadao. Swayameva Sfurati Yada, He'll reveal Himself. So the whole process is helped by the super soul in the heart. Super soul deciding, I'll reveal, I'll not reveal. We have to get the favor of Krishna. Follow the Guru, follow the process. Chanting, reading everything, taking prasad. We follow the process, then from inside Krishna will reveal it. But process means we have to please the Guru, because Guru has said it. So Prabhupada says to do it, and we do it. Then inside Krishna is pleased. He'll reveal the knowledge. He'll remove the layers. And when the layers are removed, then clear understanding comes. What happens? Drishta evatmanishvare. Kriyanchetas chasya karmani. The layers are broken, and then Drishta evatmanishvare. One sees the self as master. Self as master. One sees the self, means I am a soul. And there's a Supreme Personality who I have to serve. That revelation comes. And this is the process. Hearing, from hearing comes purification, desire to serve. We begin serving, then that not binding us to the body is broken. We then apply ourselves fully in the devotional service of God. Hare Krishna. Yes.
So, you mentioned about the hands and eyes being everywhere.
Yes.
Paramatma. So could we see this as like all of our body parts, everything belongs to Krishna ultimately. So whenever, or what is the correct?
That is the understanding, what you said. That the understanding is that everything belongs to Paramatma. He is inside everything. And it's supposed to be that we serve Him. If we are serving Him, then our body is for Him.
So, but the Mayavadis take it as everywhere are
That-
His hands. Then everywhere means there are also places where like, people want to be there. Then how we apply it? I mean, suppose in space,
Yeah.
where are the hands and legs and eyes there?
No, everywhere means if I say there's so many people everywhere, doesn't mean there are people in every single millimeter, micromillimeter. You know? If I say, oh, Airtel shops are everywhere now, doesn't mean it's in the toilet, in the, you know.
Like
Every-
lizards
Yeah. But one more point to consider here, that in the purport it's speaking about a misconception that there is one Brahman whole. This is here. Soul is equal to super soul. So when we are saying that everything is everywhere, His eyes and hands are, that we, soul, are part of that one Brahman pervading everything. And so automatically, you are me, I am you. You know all that. My hand, my body, everything is mine, and you, there's no difference. This is the whole misconception, which is, I'm paraphrasing what I had read now. I can't see it right now. Yeah. Yeah, so that's okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.